What's going on, guys? Ironcane here, back with another Dreadful the Breakers video. And I don't say Season 6 because this isn't really contingent to Season 6, but kind of just overall to Breakers in general. Just because, you know, to be honest with y'all, Breakers is not a great hot spot. I've talked about this a couple of times. You guys have probably seen other creators or streamers or just comments talk about it as well, forums, whatever. So it would be great if we had a way to provide the dev team some feedback. We actually can do this, and there is a way to give the dev team feedback by like filling out a form on Bandai's site and whatnot. But one member of the community, Jupiter, actually went the extra mile and did a survey kind of collecting a bunch of people's thoughts and feelings of the game, seeing what they like, what they don't like, and actually sent that over to Bandai. So huge hats off to Jupiter. And I would just like to say, if anybody, Jupiter or whoever, wants to do that again, I would be more than happy to kind of like shout that out. That way we can even get more votes for these polls to give the devs like some sort of feedback. Because if they're not going to do it themselves, if they're not going to put out a survey themselves, least we can do, you know, us being really passionate about the game, is just do it for them, right? So that being said, I thought it'd be interesting to kind of look at Jupiter's video and see some of the feedback that was given there. So to provide some additional context, Jupiter did a response sheet thingy on Google. Sorry, the words are escaping my brain right now. I was actually supposed to like engage with this. Someone sent over to me. I plan on doing it, but I never got around to it because I came back from PAX and whatnot. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and watch this. It's around 10 minutes long, kind of just going over all of the findings from this survey here. So let's go ahead and take a look. And I think Jupiter actually already has music set for this, so I don't even got to play the lo-fi this time around. So I guess I could read this for you guys, like it's a storybook. Maybe I'll just throw in the lo-fi, that way I'm not like conflicting. Sorry guys, very professional, I know. Okay. Greetings, if you're reading this document, then I thank you kindly for your time. I am Jupiter, a Dreadful the Breakers content creator, and I came up with this idea after seeing Yoichiro, a Japanese Dreadful the Breakers content creator, post the results of his own Japan version of this survey. I thought to myself, why not propose the same idea to the global community and hopefully reach out to Bandai Namco. While there's a lot of frustration towards the game in Season 6, this survey managed to receive 150 responses in a matter of days. It's my hope that it will be enough to at least push Dreadful the Breakers in the right direction. And again, I am putting this out there, whether it's Jupiter or anybody else. If anybody else would like to do a follow-up to the survey or just do it again, I'll be more than happy to like kind of just like give a shout out to it. So like people from my community and you guys also have the opportunity to participate in it, right? So let's go see some of the findings. Okay, so let's read this. When did you start playing Breaker? So this is kind of Jupiter's findings of like when people started and the gacha in Season 6. Okay. So they say here, we start off on a surprising twist with a staggering 43.2% of participants first playing Breakers during closed/open beta, immediately followed by a 23% who started in Season 1. These results may prove that there is at least some interest in the game 2 years since release. Essentially, what this is trying to say is that there are long-lasting players that have stuck around since the closed and open betas. A lot of our participants voted for a pity system. I think that's very obvious. I mean, I've been screaming that myself for a very long time. The fact that you are buying a game with the gacha to unlock characters, to unlock skills without pity is insane. For context, My Hero Ultra Rumble has been out for less than a year. Its first anniversary is coming up shortly. And it's a free-to-play game with pity. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect over there, but at least they have pity, dude. At least they have it. Others voted to remove the gacha entirely. Unfortunately, I don't see that to be very likely. It's very possible that we see a gacha on Sparking Zero. They love throwing gachas in Dragon Ball games. This is very likely because of how the current Season 6 meta relies on strong skills, such as Memories of Battle and Train by an Angel. Unsurprisingly, a lot of our participants thought that Season 6 content has been lacking so far, 59.5% plus 23.6%, with only a mere 11.5% thinking it was alright. This is due to a severe lack of Transpheres and missing super attacks. Sorry, I'm blocking again. The new skills aren't engaging enough. Outfits and raider lines are very few, and they all cost TP. To play devil's advocate, not all the Raider lines play cost TP, but it's literally like 90% of them just to play devil's advocate. But that is very true. That is very true. Okay. Alrighty, so unfortunately, a lot of scores were below. Oh, how much would you recommend it to a friend? Oof. Generally, me, myself, I couldn't in good faith recommend Breakers to a friend right now. I think now is one of the worst times to play the game. When people hop in stream or they comment on a video saying like, hey man, I'm just starting right now. I'm like, are you sure? Like, are you sure you want to play right now, bro? Like, I would just wait till anniversary personally, but then like, I understand Sparking Zero is going to be out that time. Maybe you're just hungry to play a Dragon Ball game at the moment, but let's see what Jupiter says here. Fortunately, a lot of the scores were below 6 and 10, most popular being 3 and 10 and 4 to 10, 22 votes, and immediately followed by 2 to 10, 20 votes. Most common reason was region lock, stopping players from interacting with each other, and very long queues resulting in connection errors. I mean, if you guys have tuned into a stream in recent time, I've run into Bountiful, oh, sorry, I was trying to use my college degree and sound smart. Connection errors, sorry. Breakers was also considered very unfriendly towards newbies because of the latest survivor nerfs and all the strongest skills being locked behind gacha with low rates and no pity system, especially considering the game already costs $20. I used to say previously, and I still think to a certain extent, with the free-to-play skills available, you can make something happen, but it's a lot more difficult now, especially with the increased Raider speed when you're locked onto. Back in the day, all you needed was floating device, knowing the floating device jump tech, and grapple and like rocket, and you're pretty much good to go. And sometimes that can still work. I'm not saying it doesn't work at all, but it's a little bit more difficult than it used to be. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you like, oh yeah, this game is free to play friendly. Like it is, but it isn't. It's, you know, it's not as black and white as people make it out to be, but it's also not as free to play friendly as I would like to be either. However, plenty of our participants also didn't deny how Breakers is still fun at its core, mentioning how fighting the Raider in intense battles are huge highlights, showing how different the game is compared to the other asymmetricals. A lot of players are still hoping for a comeback in Season 7. Me included, dude. Me included. Some people think, I don't know, it's, to be fair, it's like a couple people, but some people think I'm just like a negative Nancy. I love this game, man. I criticize it because I love it, dude. That's it. That's why this exists, dude. Because people love this game. They want to see it do well. How do you feel about the balance and pacing in Season 6? This has been a polarizing question. 32.4% of our participants believe Season 6 is Survivor-sided, while 29.7% believe it's Raider-sided, with only a mere 16.9% believing it's balanced. I am of the opinion, I've been, very strongly held this opinion for a very long time, that Raiders are not OP. I don't believe they ever were OP for a very long amount of time. I would say like maybe early Season 1, they were very strong during like the November patch. I personally am of that belief because if you have a group of good, 7 survivors that know what they're doing, I think you're going to give the Raider, a run for their money every single time. And sometimes it feels, as Raider, that doesn't matter how good you are, how skillful you are as Raider. If 7 players are locked in, it's not really that much you can do, and it truly feels like that sometimes. So that's how I feel personally. I know some people disagree on that, but I think in terms of being balanced, I'm very mixed on the dodge nerf. At this point, I've kind of just gotten used to it. I understand why people want it back for solo play, but let's read the survey more here. I apologize. Solo players expressed their concern about the survivor nerfs affecting them heavily and how their matches have been going on a downward spiral. While Raiders expressed their concern about these nerfs having changed nothing against pre-mades. Most participants believe this is because the survivor nerfs didn't truly target what they consider to be the biggest issue with the game is top tier skills. I was screaming that stuns needed to be nerfed. Because if you were running, it doesn't even have to be a pre-made. If you are running against a group and everybody is running a stun or more, 2 stuns, imagine 7 people running 2 stuns, that's 14 stuns available. Some having a cooldown of 30 seconds if they play their cards right. And if you botch your break strikes, or even if you use them well, you are going to die. You are going to die. Stuns are insane, and they need to be looked at. It's just very interesting that it didn't, because I think from a solo perspective, nerfing a stun heavily would really devalue them, but then they got rid of dodge. So, I think what the nerf of dodge, I think, was to promote more team play and not single players carrying matches, which I do think is good. This is a team-based game. You shouldn't have like one player soloing a Raider. This is not Xenoverse. It is not Xenoverse. So that's how I feel about the dodge thing, but let's continue reading. In terms of pacing, a lot of our participants mostly didn't share any a pacing? While others thought matches went by fast. Oh, pacing of matches. Oh, okay. I thought they were talking about content. I'm like, pacing content. We don't got none. So I was going to say, what are we happy about, bro? All right, in terms of pacing, a lot of our participants didn't share any issues. I think the pacing is better now slightly because survivors can't just willy-nilly key rush anymore. They have to be a little more methodical, which I like. I do kind of like that, but it's the double-edged sword because now Raiders can take advantage of, the level 2 strat, which is inherently kind of boring for the Raider and survivors. The Raiders don't get to power up and unlock their movesets and get cooler voice lines and yada, yada, yada. And survivors don't really get to fight that much because they don't have the resources to do so. Kind of forcing people to use Memories of Battle and top-tier skills, etc. While others thought matches went by fast or slow, 60.9%. Solo players had more trouble finding power keys and coordinating with team to defeat the Raider. Raiders had more trouble making a comeback against strong pre-mades that found all the power keys in 3 minutes or less. Okay. So this is kind of just a bar graph and a pie chart of everything that we kind of looked at here. So let's just take a peek. When you start playing Breakers, so a majority actually was from the closed and open beta, which is very interesting, in Season 1. And then it seems like the second most popular, besides Season 1, the second most popular season to start was 5 and then 4, which makes a lot of sense. And then, actually, no, Season 2 was more popular than 4. But again, this is between like 150 participants. That's why I think it'd be really cool to get more people to interact with this. Sorry, I just moved my cam over. How do you feel about Season 6? Overwhelmingly Radius-sided was 14. Survivor is 6. Yeah, I don't think it's overwhelmingly Survivor-sided. Balance, 16.9. Raider-sided, 29. And Survivor-sided, 32.4. Yeah, most people would not recommend the game to a friend. I think that makes sense. I think if you're doing any more than a 7, I think you're kind of coping a little bit. And then we just looked at the match speed, but there is like another viewing of it. But let's move along. Alrighty. Okay, strongest and weakest Raider. Who do you think is the strongest and weakest Raider in Season 6? The strongest Raider in Season 6 is Goku Black with, no doubt, with an overwhelmingly 56.4%. Baby follows with a 26.2, then Broly with 8.1. I'm not going to crash out too much with Baby being high. I think inherently the new Raider, we all kind of, think like, oh my god, this new Raider is crazy, this new Raider is cracked. And then like some time passes, players kind of realize the weaknesses and they kind of figure the Raider out. This happened with Vegeta when he would auto-evolve. Same thing with the Ginyu Force when he would auto-evolve. And it's happened with Broly, Goku Black, and Baby as well. Especially Baby. God damn, especially with Baby. So I do think there is a recency bias, and it also might be attributed to the fact of solo play. I think when a team is very uncoordinated, or like if Baby preys upon the weaker players or the players that doesn't know what they're doing, Baby can snowball really, really quickly. Really, really quickly for sure. And once he gets level 4, it's pretty much impossible. I mean, it is pretty much impossible with most Raiders, but with Baby especially so, right? What's curious about Baby is that he is also shares the second weakest Raider spot with an 18.7% alongside Frieza. Ginyu Force taking the first spot with 26.2%, and Majin Buu taking the third spot with 18%. I think Majin Buu is not bad. It's just that if things move very fast for Buu, it can be tough for him to catch up. I do think Fat Boo's competent. He has a lot of good combos that I think a lot of people don't know about. I really should get cracking with these Raider guides, but Sparking Zero is coming out soon, so I got to start like thinking about that. But me aside, I do think I think Baby's the weakest Raider on release. In terms of whether Baby's weaker than the Ginyu Force, I am very biased against Baby, guys. I'll be completely honest with you. The fact that your level 1 can be completely ignored and you're just stuck in level 1 for like nearly 5 minutes, I think is absolutely insane. Sure, can people like take out Goldo in like 3 hits or like 2 super attacks? Yes. You know, depending on how many people that jump you, it'll be very difficult to like outplay the opponents, especially if they're running a lot of stuns and whatnot. Ginyu Force is just very squishy, and the DPS for Raiders is just so high right now. It's very difficult for the Ginyu Force to kind of flourish right now. So looking at the pie graph, the weakest Raider is the Ginyu Force, I apologize. Then Baby, then Majin Buu. Everybody thinks Goku Black is really strong. That makes sense. Frieza is fairly high. Frieza is actually a curious one, because I always used to say that, Frieza, I think, is one of those Raiders that has like one of the best kits made into the game, where just like the fact that if people Dragon Ball Rush, you're getting extra evolution energy. If people attack you, you get that energy right. I just feel like, you know, he is kind of feeling like he's aging. He's aging, guys. Like, I don't know. I just feel like he can't really keep up with the competition as much as he used to. I think level 3 Frieza is very strong. But since everybody's using Trained by an Angel now, and I'm pretty sure they can like almost completely outrun the discs at level 4. I mean, Frieza has a lot of combos for sure, and he's very deadly at close range. But he doesn't feel like a monster like he used to, personally. But, you know, there's neither here or there. I'm just very happy that Ginyu and Baby are, like, you know, considered the weakest. All right, and then this is the pie chart for the strongest. Goku Black and Zamasu, I don't have to explain this to a lot of you guys, but the reason why they're considered the strongest is because of the level 2 strat. Makes a lot of sense. And even if they get level 3, that's the thing with Goku Black too. If you get a level 3 very, very quickly, you're going to dominate that game, especially if, you know, not a lot of keys have been placed and you take out the super transfer really fast. After you take that super transfer, when you're Rose, it's GG's. Like, Rose is insane. He's very, very, very good. Very oppressive Raider. Broly is fairly low as well. I saw a lot of people saying that Broly is one of the better Raiders. I don't entirely disagree. I just personally think it might be like Zamasu, Goku Black, and maybe even like Vegeta. I think Vegeta is really, really slept on, guys. I think Vegeta is insane. Back in the day, it felt like if you didn't kill Nappa or Vegeta came out prior to the STM, you lost that game if you did not kill Vegeta. Now that Vegeta has more health, if Nappa lives or if Vegeta is out before the STM comes out, it's GG's, dude. It genuinely feels like GG's. The only way you have a chance is if Vegeta just comes out while the STM is out. I feel that's the only way you have a chance with Vegeta. At least that's the way it feels like to me personally. Okay, but let's go ahead and move on. All right, which Raider is your favorite and least favorite to go up against? The most fun Raider in Season 6 is Broly with a 25.3%, followed by the Ginyu Force, 15.3%, and Frieza, 14.7%. All of them are considered to be fair and engaging to face as Survivor. I think the reason why people feel that way is because, yes, the Ginyu Force can auto-evolve, but they take a lot of damage. They're balanced in that way. Ginyu can be really, really strong, but if you take out a couple of his members, Ginyu does feel a lot weaker, and he's a lot easier to deal with at level 4, right? Broly, you could literally fight as a super Transphere or a level 4 at every single stage that he evolves, which I think people just like to fight in this game, which is a very controversial topic. Some people want to fight all the time, and it's just not really what this game is. And then Frieza, kind of similar to Ginyu, where, you know, if Frieza's getting beat on, he can also evolve, making it kind of a fairer fight. And if you summon Shenron, Frieza also gets evolutionary energy, like I was mentioning before, kind of like evening the playing field a lot as well. And he doesn't feel like super, super crazy. I think the only time Frieza feels like crazy is if you're in the ETM phase. You can just throw Zarbon to Dory at the remaining ETM spots. There you're kind of fucked. Least fun Raider in Season 6 is Baby with an overwhelming 48%, mainly followed by Goku Black. Again, I really feel like this is recency biased But I guess you could argue Baby is annoying to play against for a couple reasons. One, either you're very annoyed by his level 1 because you get cucked because your allies get down very quickly, or you just find that it's very easy to counter, or you might just hate the fact that he forces you to watch his fucking evolution cutscenes. That would piss me off, so I understand that completely. And then Goku Black being the second definitely makes the most sense because of the level 2 strat. I think that's, makes a lot of sense here. But here are the pie charts. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but turns out at least to go up against our third place, I think, is the Ginyu Force, surprisingly. And then it is Cell and Broly are tied, and Vegeta. People like to go up against Vegeta. And then favorite to go up against, Broly's the highest. Frieza is third, to Ginyu Force being second, and then Cell, Zamasu, Goku Black, Majin Buu, with Baby being the least fair to go up against. Interesting. Okay, yeah, so people just not a fan of Baby. Fair. All right, so let's go ahead and move on here. How do you feel about super transfers? I think this is a very interesting topic. I have felt a type of way about super transfers. I don't mind them in a bubble, but I think when they did super transfers back to back like that, it felt a little bit lazy. I was really hoping Goku Black would have a new mechanic, so them kind of just like recycling super transfers wasn't as exciting for me, but of course it's always fun playing as, Vegito Blue and Trunks and whatnot, or like, God Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, God Vegeta, Super Saiyan Vegeta, and then, Gogeta Blue, right? All right, most of the participants didn't see anything inherently wrong with super transfers, 44.7%, while others either believed they were strong, 24.7%, or weak, 20%. Super transfers can be strong with the appropriate build, which is easier when the survivors already know who the raider is from the waiting lobby. However, super transfers heavily depend on the player who happens to take them. Having a weak player take the super transfer can massively shift the match in the raider's favor. While that in mind, few participants believe super transfers as a mechanic need to change to allow the strongest players to take them and prevent unfair scenarios. Goku Black has been mentioned very often because of his level 2 denying both Super Time Machine supplies and Super Transfer. Yeah, I think they should change Goku Black around, man, because the fact that you're not getting supplies, you don't have a Super Transfer, and there's no Dragon Balls, like, it's tough, and it forces player to use, like, the unfun skills, like Memories of Battle and whatnot. That's why I use Fridge, because I'd rather use Fridge than Memories of Battle. I feel like it's just more fun and interesting, but, Here we have Cell. Cell doesn't have a clear spot on the survey, being only 4th strongest and 5th weakest raider. Everyone who has voted for Cell as the strongest voiced their concerns about his latest semi-perfect form buffs. His Kamehameha Ki Blast is nearly uncounterable because of the latest vanish and dodge changes. I actually disagree with this. I've been able, granted not consistently, but I've been able to dodge Cell's Ki Blast at, lock-on distance with the normal dodge without, the after-image dodge. Me personally. And in comments below, let me know if I'm capping on that. I'm pretty sure you can. But at long distance, if you got a sniper, you got a point-and-click fella, Cell's going to be very deadly at level 3. His fast evolution speed combined with the survivor changes gives Cell a strong early start and snowball potential. His Solar Flare is still a very strong tool to this day. Of course, that combo is essentially doing after image into the Solar Flare and kind of just doing a melee combo or what have you afterwards. Cell still has the highest HP among all raiders and has the shortest evasive cooldown, which gives him the advantage even if he doesn't get past his imperfect form. Participants who have voted Cell as the weakest voiced their concerns about Cell being too basic, which isn't too surprising considering he is a closed beta raider. A common solution among many is to give him the ability to spawn Cell Juniors to assist him. I do think at this point, if they were going to do that, Cell would have to get some nerfs, because I think giving him additional things like that while he has all this other stuff going for him, I think you would need some tweaks for balancing, there. Alrighty, moving on to Frieza. Frieza is considered to be the second weakest raider in Season 6, which is honestly kind of crazy to think about considering he was looking to be one of the best aging Raiders, and now he's finally showing that age. Excuse me. While his recent evolution HP buffs were appreciated, most participants believe Frieza still didn't age well in the current Raider standards, most notably with the lack of dash and tracking abilities. Yes, he does feel very slow. I will say that Frieza feels really, really slow. And once somebody slips through your fingers, not really much you can do. Level 2, you can use the R1 ability, which is like that AoE explosion to catch people off guard. Beyond that, once people gets out of your sight, you go to the area and pray they're still there. If they're not, kind of fucked. Most participants noted how his kit clearly meant for duels, which isn't good enough in Season 6, where most fights involve at least 2 to 3 survivors. That actually hurt. While useful, wasn't considered to be very strong as an auto-evolve compared to Broly's essence of the warrior race. I think that is referring to, I forget exactly, but I think this is referring to when Frieza takes damage, he evolves, as opposed to Broly, well, he deals damage, he evolves. Because Frieza has many evolution passive skills, survivors can force him to evolve. Sorry, I was just trying to get the text. Force him to reach evolution level 3 and spawn the STM supplies, which is considered especially terrible compared to the likes of Goku, Black, or Cell. That's one of the things that's a weakness of Baby, so of course for Frieza it would also apply. Up next, we have Majin Buu. Majin Buu is considered to be the third weakest Raider in Season 6. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense that, some of the earliest Raiders would be considered weak, right? Despite the multiple Spopovich buffs, his level 1 is still considered to be easily the weakest, especially compared to Simon's recent buffs. Most participants noted how easy it is to just stun and kill Spopovich in seconds, despite the threat of a fully healed Majin Buu. I don't really see many Spopovich is killed anymore, and honestly, I don't even recommend doing it, because if you kill him, you're not getting any rewards for it, so it's not really helping the survivors. You're kind of just bullying the Raider, essentially, for like no reason. So unless, like, I think it's around 12 minutes, I think 12 minutes and 10 seconds have to pass before you can actually be able to obtain rewards. Otherwise, it'll just, consider it a, like, game that was, meddled with or something like that. Spopovich is considered too slow. It takes too long to evolve when he has to go all the way back to his spawn just to reach level 2, which breaks Majin Buu's entire momentum. I'm very curious if they'll just allow Spopovich to, like, just IT back to, like, the egg in the future or something like that, or just, like, straight up teleport to it. I think that'd be a good way to kind of counteract that. Most participants believe Innocent Buu relies too much on a God Spawn. A God Spawn kind of just refers to a spawn where you just have like 80 civilians right next to you. A great example of this is on the snow map. I believe it's Area D. If you get in a certain area, sometimes you have like 3 civs that spawn right next to you. You just stab all 3 of them and you get Buu very quickly. And it doesn't always happen, right? To reach the Super Buu form, not to mention he has the worst super tech in the game, which is Angry Explosion. So this is referring to level 2 Fat Buu's Angry Explosion. I think it's a very bad move. It does have its usages. The only time it is actually a semi-okay good move is if you see a survivor going for a melee and you pop Angry Explosion. Why doing that is a good idea is when a survivor does that, they'll whiff and they'll get staggered and they won't have enough time to actually avoid the move. I believe. I don't know if you can like instant rise out of that or something. I haven't tried that myself. But to my knowledge, if the survivor attempts to hit you and you activate that ability at the right time, they will get hit by it and it will deal a lot of damage. Beyond that, you could use it to defend, the STM and keys, but it leaves you wide open, right? They should give it iframes, I believe, personally, because it has a lot of drawbacks and not a lot of good going forward. Innocent Buu has no chase potential because of his nerfed flying speed. I actually didn't realize they did that, or I forgot about it. But Goku is very strong, but Buu does have combos. Fat Buu does have combos. If you Angry Shout, you can Vanish Kick and then go into his super, the big yellow ball thing, shoot that out. You could Angry Shout, Vanish Kick, Go Gum maybe. You have options, right? You have options, but he does have a combo, which I think people forget about, but that doesn't mean he's like, a fantastic Raider or anything like that. It was just something I want to mention. All right, Vegeta. Vegeta has no particular spot in Season 6. He's considered the 4th weakest Raider, but also the 4th most fun Raider to go up against. Me personally, I think this is just a little bit of lack of experience or lack of knowledge of how Vegeta works. I think he's incredibly strong. I think he's incredibly strong. Now, granted, I think Nappa can be taken out very easily, very quickly, just again because of the high damage potential that survivors currently have in the game. But let's read what we have here. Nappa is heavily punished for losing Cybermen. However, it is also way easier for Cybermen to evolve because of the reduced civilian requirement, plus the threat of instant downing a survivor. Yeah, I mean, I always suggest for players to go for civilians instead of survivors when you're playing Vegeta, but with an upgraded wall kick, it is possible to get survivors and catch them off guard, but it's just better to have that upgraded. That way you can move around a lot faster and just find more civilians too. Vegeta is considered to be very strong in good hands. His recent buffs made him a threat against both premates and also solo queue players alike. But the most participants agree that he's still very fun and fair considering he has to work to evolve to a Great Ape. Great Ape Vegeta isn't considered a game ender, unlike Great Ape Baby, because of his reduced HP and vulnerability to stuns. Baby also can get hit by stuns. I mean, I guess they're not saying that he can't, but like, yeah, Baby is also vulnerable to stuns. Great Ape Vegeta is considered a last resort evolution, which is lore accurate to the character in a fun and unique way. I mean, long ago, there actually was a time, I mean, this is, you know, when dodge was still a thing, you could still dodge the stomp. I got Great Ape, and I got him really, really fast, and I actually lost the game. Because there were 7 players alive, and they actually cooked me, but this was, like, way back in Season 2. So, you know, would that happen now? Who knows, because you can't dodge stomp anymore. But I think Vegeta is very, very, very strong. I mean, I would love to play him once we get Z5 or Raider, just to kind of, like, see how he feels, but, you know, we're on that baby grind. All right. Ginyu Force used to be a force to be reckoned with, but now he's considered the weakest Raider in Season 6, while also being the second most fun Raider to go up against. Ginyu Force is the only Raider who has never received any buffs since release, only nerfs. Most participants believe his members aged horribly in a meta where survivors have multiple super attack options and their damage can be increased through passive skills. Like this should be interesting. Was also considered too weak in the game's current meta. Ginyu isn't considered to be very rewarding. Losing his members can cost him the entire match because of how essential they are to his kit. Losing Golda makes Ginyu more vulnerable than Smovich. Losing Raccoon cripples his damage, and losing Jace and Berta cripples his Milky Cannon. I honestly, personally feel like if you're going to lose anybody, I feel like losing Raccoon ain't that bad. I generally feel like it ain't that bad. Melees do a lot of damage anyway, just that Raccoon really, really makes you do a lot of damage. I think the most damning ones are Goldo and Jason Berta, because Jason Berta being alive, that Milky Cannon is a force to be reckoned with. It's very hard to dodge. It is dodgeable, but it is very hard to dodge and has a lot of active brains. Because Ginyu Force has forced auto evolution, they can't stop the SDM supplies from spawning, further reducing their already weakened performance, which is very true. Not only do they auto evolve, you can just straight up kill them to force them to evolve as well. Body change hardly benefits Ginyu when he loses his Scouter. I think that's very silly. I think there should be a mechanic where if Jace and Berta is alive, like in the anime, and I don't know the manga, but at least in the anime, when Ginyu body changed, Jace handed him a Scouter. So that could be the thing where, like, if Jason Berta dies, he has no one to hand him a Scouter. But if you have Jason Berta alive, Jace can hand him the Scouter, just like, you know, the source material. When he body changes. Body change hardly benefits Ginyu when he loses his Scouter and trades his Milky Cannon for an average full power energy wave. Yeah, I think that's very fair. Alrighty, now we have Broly. Broly is considered the 3rd strongest Raider in Season 6 according to our participants. Their reasons are as follows. Survivor advantage and dodge changes allow Broly to keep up the pressure during fights. Ski Blast not only reduce his combat performance, and his melee attacks are some of the fastest and strongest in the game. Yeah, Broly was very weak when he initially dropped because level 3 felt like a weaker form, essentially. It felt like getting level 3 kind of cucked you. The strongest thing he had was his AoE super attack because his Ki Blasts were just so easily dodged. But now with you know, the afterimage being removed where you can't spam it anymore and his Ki Blasts being improved, that's less of an issue now. His mobility options are the strongest they've ever been in the current meta. Survivors have a hard time trying to evade a strong Broly during early game because of his gigantic charge and Aura Trap, even when using Galactic Patrol ship. I mean, this is very true, dude. I have popped into the Rising Jaco ship and a Broly has been on my ass. I'm like, God damn, bro. Damn, he just follows me and I'm dead, dude. So I think that's very true, and I've definitely experienced that myself. Because of the Survivor nerfs, Super Transpheres have become a lot easier to fight. Super Transfers require a strong build and a good team to especially delay Broly and deal damage. Broly can easily use his mobility tools to relentlessly chase after them. Participants think this is actually fair and made Broly a lot more exciting to fight against. I agree. I mean, I think a Super Transphere can perform decent without having a dedicated build, but of course, obviously, a build dedicated to Super Transphere is going to perform a lot better. Last thing I want to say about Broly is I think what also gave him a good boost was the fact that you could just, even as level 4, you could straight up like dodge his Ki Blast and you could 1v1 Broly. In the past, you could 1v1 Broly, even at level 4. With Gogeta Blue, and Gogeta Blue's super tech was insane. So I'm really glad I got nerfed, making Broly a lot more threatening, because now you cannot solo Broly, or not as reliably as you could. I mean, I think at level 4 you can't. You really can't. It's more of a hit and run thing instead of just like, you know, who's actually the better player who can like dodge and evade. Now, of course, a player that knows what they're doing, they know how to dodge, they know how to land supers, all this stuff is going to, you know, probably overwhelm a raider that doesn't. But I think it's different where a full health level 4 Broly is not dying to a Gogeta Blue by himself. You know what I mean? I don't think so. I really don't. I think even the best players would struggle personally. But let's move on. Alright, so now we have Goku Black and Zamasu. Goku Black and Zamasu are considered the strongest raider in Season 6. According to our participants, their reasons are as follows. It's quite easy for Goku Black to choose not to evolve and deny resources and super transfers to the survivors during the Super Time Machine phase. Yes, dude, the level 2 strat. We live and die by it, man. On one hand, I get why raiders do this. I've done it, and sometimes your hand is just straight up forced. Survivors are just moving so quickly. You're level 2. Why would you get level 3 and give them that chance to take you out with the super transfer and supplies coming during the STM phase? You would be an idiot. So sometimes survivors just straight up force your hands too. So I know a lot of people do a lot of finger wagging to raiders and whatnot, but it's the game, man. It's the game. Because of the latest Season 6 changes, the supplies will not spawn unless Goku Black decides to evolve to his Rose form, which is hardly the case in most matches. Level 2 Goku Black has way too much at his disposal with 2 strong super attacks, fully capable of sniping anyone from Area X, while also sharing a large area of effect. The area effect was so good, they actually went back to all the old raiders, I believe all the old raiders, and improved the area effect just because it's like, well, damn, why would you even play anybody else when his area effect is so good? Zamasu roaming around the map and Aura Slider are allowing Goku Black to chase. Goku Black is the answer to the current meta because of his kit. There is little to no reward for defeating Zamasu. Participants have proposed disabling Zamasu when defeated until Goku Black reaches his Rose form from Mafuba. Ooh, that would be really cool. Imagine you take out Zamasu level 1 and you see Roshi pull up, do his animation, and the only way he comes back is with Rose. That would be very cool. And that would incentivize players to not do the level 2 strat. But, you know, who knows if that would be a good or bad thing. But I do think that's an interesting idea for sure. Alrighty, we have Baby. Baby is a very interesting case. He's considered the second strongest, but also second weakest raider. He's also the most unfun raider to go up against. Even his own poll has been very polarizing. Baby is considered average, 26%, very strong, 24.7%, weak, 22%, and strong, 20%. Baby's evolution level 1 is very frustrating on both sides. Baby can easily infect low ranks and weaker players and camp their bodies for the... Oh, that's fair. I didn't even consider that. The bodies for the entirety of their timer. There is 0 counter to that strategy because he can't be stunned nor damaged. His level 1 is also extremely... Well, no, there really is. I mean, the only technical counter that you can do against level 1 Baby is Smoke Bomb, because he can't lock onto for a short amount of time. But, like, that wouldn't help you res somebody else, I don't think, unless somebody threw down a Smoke Bomb right after you did or something like that. You're just spamming smoke in Baby's face. His level 1 is also extremely weak against any sort of mobility, most notably Galactic Patrol Ship and Flying Nimbus, which happens very often against good survivors. Most of our participants agree that watching Baby's cutscenes for his every evolution, every match is very tiring and unnecessary. I agree. I agree with that, dude. You guys know how I feel about Baby. I've made so many videos about Baby, so we're not gonna stick on him too much, longer. Let's move on. I apologize, we're not moving on. There's actually another page dedicated just for Baby. Baby's shield barrier doesn't protect against super attacks and can be easily disabled with a melee attack. I believe this is the up D-pad ability. I honestly thought it defended against supers. Now that I know that is stupid. That is kind of dumb. Baby has a very easy time snowballing against solo queue players with low efforts. Most participants agree that's because his evolution speed is way too fast, especially considering his creative form is the strongest in the game. I think what they should do, faster to get out of level 1, slower once you hit level 3. And I think we're golden. I think that's all they need to do, bro. I think that's all they need to do. Grade 8 Baby has increased HP and knockback meter, which is essentially a game over no matter the team he's facing. Baby also doesn't take nearly the same effort to reach that form, unlike Vegeta. Despite his evolution speed, most participants also agree that level 1 Baby takes far too long to evolve to his Baby Vegeta form. Requires too many civilians to evolve, and hunting good survivors isn't a good idea when he can't shoot, wall kick, or fly. His auto-evolve timer is very punishing as well, forcing Baby to stick with his level 2 most of the time. Here we have Baby community improvements. How would you improve Baby? Among many suggestions, these were the most common among our participants. Reduce the amount of civilians required for level 1 Baby to evolve to Baby Vegeta. Yeah, at least make it 4, bro. Like, the fact you need 5 is insane. Reduce level 1 Baby auto-evolve timer to evolve to Baby Vegeta. Allow level 1 Baby to wall kick. I don't think they'll do that, but it would be something. Remove level 1 Baby's ability to destroy vending machines and infect survivors using invincibility, skills, energy field. I don't know if I agree with that personally. Survivors who have been revived receive invulnerability periods of both Baby and infected civilians. I think a way to make that happen would be fine. Affected civilians now give less change power, but their ping time is also reduced. Huh. I don't know how to feel about that one either. Affected civilians now chase after survivors who get close enough. I think that would be cool, because I feel like civilians being so stationary, the infected civilians anyway, kind of defeats the purpose, especially when you're out of level 1, because they're just sitting there, right? You kind of gotta hope someone touches them. Allows shield barrier to protect against super attacks. I think that makes sense. Servants who did not spot and attack any survivors will leave after a certain amount of time, allowing Baby to send them somewhere else. I think that's fair. Increase Super Baby 2's evolution required to reach grade 8. Fair. Remove evolution cutscenes outside of his grade 8 form, just like Vegeta. Fair. Reduce grade 8 Baby's knockback meter to be on par with grade 8 Vegeta. Honestly, they could even make it less. I think they could even make his knockback meter less resistant, just because of his increased health pool, right? I think that would make a lot of sense. Here are everybody's thoughts about Baby. Very strong is 24.7%. Weak is 22%. Strong is 20. Very weak is 7.3. And average is 26%. Alrighty, so here are the players' thoughts, or the participants' thoughts on the Season 6 Survivor changes. Most of our participants thought the changes should be reverted entirely. We'll talk about that later. While others believe they can be improved, 34.7%. Among many suggestions, most notable ones were as follows. Change the STM supplies when the Raider is level 2, if not revert the nerf entirely. Solo queue survivors have a much harder time against Raiders profiting from level 2, such as Goku Black. Implement a Vantage meter, just like Raiders knockback meter, and allow 2 to 3 Vantages before going on cooldown. This would make fights more strategic. I think that's fair. Level 2 supplies nerf? It's tough, man, because I think in the context of a pre-made, I think it's almost necessary, but for solo play, I really understand it. I think reverting everything, I think would be a little bit excessive, but I understand where some people are coming from, for sure. Alrighty, to nobody's surprise, this is regarding the strongest skills. Memories of Battle far outclass any of the other passive skills on the list, with an overwhelming 54%, followed by Immortal Champion and Expert Driver item recovery. Really? No Trained by an Angel. Trained by an Angel not on here? Oh, okay. Trained by an Angel is on here. Memories of Battle is pretty wild. I think what is annoying about it is that as a raider, you don't really know who has it. So you either do one of two things. You either ignore the survivors, which sometimes is a bad play, or you attack them and give them Memories of Battle. It's very tough. I wish there was like a sound effect that played when you hit the survivors, similar to like the ping sound that we normally get, that gives an indication of who has Memories of Battle and who doesn't. That way the raider knows, okay, maybe I shouldn't hit this person right now, or maybe I should focus on other survivors that don't have their Dragon Chains currently. Immortal Champion I still think is really good, but I do think, you know, it isn't the craziest ability in the game, but it depends on what raider you are. It really does depend on what raider you are, because some raiders have no answer to it and others do, so take that as you may. Expert Driver Item Recovery I don't think is that crazy, personally. I really don't. I mean, I think it's really good, but I don't think it's that insane. I think that's a little recency bias there, in my opinion. It's only surprise Galactic Patrol Ship far outclass any of the other active skills. Makes a lot of sense. Autos overwhelming 52.7% followed by Charming Pose, and Instant Rise 10%. I think Charming Pose is just the most consistent stun, even if it isn't considered the best stun. I think that would go to Solar Flare. However, I do think Charming Pose, just with its consistency and its range, I think makes it, you know, the best stun in the game for me personally, and other players as well. Instant Rise makes a lot of sense. Instant Rise and Jocko Ship, they go hand in hand, right? Which of these passive skills do you believe to be the most unbalanced Season 6? Resistance. I do think Resistance is a little slept on. I do think Resistance is kind of crazy. Saiyan Savagery, I don't even know why that's on there. Immortal Champion makes sense. We're going to pay. I don't think as much anymore because you can't really solo carry like you used to. I think that's why it's not rated as high. I think Trained by an Angel should be rated higher just because I think it really complements the meta that we're currently in right now. These will be the most balanced. Wait, which of these active? Oh, okay, so that was passive skills. This active skills to be unbalanced. I don't think Trained by an Angel is unbalanced. Now that I'm looking at these, Immortal Champion I don't think is unbalanced. I don't think it's unbalanced. I really don't. Maybe you could argue maybe the landing in it should be a little bit longer. Expert Driver is not unbalanced. I think maybe people got a little misconstrued with like there's between strong and unbalanced. Saiyan Savagery is definitely not unbalanced. Resistance I think maybe could use a tweak. Maybe. Memories of Battle, I think they could just cut it in half. Give it 15% instead of 30. 30 is insane. Dude, that's getting hit with Memories of Battle is 10% less than drinking a fucking cooldown drink at level 3. That's stupid. That's stupid. That is dumb. That doesn't make any... You know how rare sodas are? And you get fucking hit and you get 10% less? That's stupid. Anyways, active skills. Which of these active skills do you believe to be the most unbalanced Season 6? Solar Flare is balanced because of it being difficult to hit. After Image, I think it's people would only say After Image just because of After Image Death Ball. Energy Field, I don't think so anymore because they've been countering it. Instant Descent, Charming Pose, Instant Rise. I mean, Instant Rise isn't like OP. It's just OP in combination with other skills, I would say, in my opinion. Instant Transmission doesn't really feel OP. Galactic Patrol Ship. I do think it isn't the be-all, end-all move, but it is very strong. It is very, very strong, for sure. So here we have rebalancing Memories of Battle. Among many suggestions, these were the most common among our participants. Reduced amount of D-Chain survivors receive at higher levels, just like Quick Sleep. When the skill is triggered, D-Chains will be given over time and not instantly. I don't like that. If the skill is triggered multiple times in a short period, its effectiveness will decrease accordingly. I think just cut it in half, dude. Make it 15%. When the skill is triggered, a cooldown period will activate. Alright, bro, just make it 15%. Just make it 15. Or decrease it depending on your level, dude. Memories of Battle is now limited up to 2 times in a skill match. That is stupid. Change requirements, so memory battles will only be triggered if hit by the raider and not by environmental hazards. That should be changed because if you can, the fact that you can abuse Bob with it is stupid. I actually have never done a video on that and I should have. All right, here we have Jocko Ship. Among many suggestions, these were the most common among our participants. Reduced amount of hits the ship can take before being destroyed. Reduced initial boost without expert driver speed boost. Increased cooldown. I think increased cooldown is fine. Instant Rise is also considered to be the threat by many participants. While this skill isn't considered much of a threat on its own, unless using Super Transpheres, it becomes much stronger when used with other skills, such as Galactic Patrol Ship. Yeah, I mean, it kind of just invalidated the floating device, just because, you know, you can move instantly instead of having to float, you know, throw something out and hop on it, right? Do you have these skills? Memories of Battle. Yes, and I don't use it. Based. Sigmas, Alphas even. Yes, I have it, and I don't use it. Those are my boys right there. They understand how to have fun. Yes, and I use it. Shame on you. And 68.7% no. You're not missing out, dude. Do you have Instant Rise? 28.7% said no. Yes, and I use it. I mean, I don't think Instant Rise is that crazy. Yes, and I don't use it. Based. Do you still use Grappling Device? 19.3 say no. 80.7 say yes. I think Grapple is still very good, even despite its nerfs and changes over time. Do you have Galactic Patrol Ship? No. I mean, bro, if you don't have Galactic Patrol Ship, kind of your fault if you're a long-lasting player. But if you just started, like, you know, last season, you know, it is what it is. Or this season, I guess it is what it is. But it's a free skill. Like, just play the game, dude. Like, I mean, I don't think it's that crazy long. I think it takes about a month and a half if you're, like, playing, but you will get it. Yes, and I use it. And 24 said yes, I don't use it. Based. Alrighty, strongest super attacks in Season 6. Special Cannon takes a massive lead with overwhelming 16%. Despite the high cost, Special Cannon hasn't changed since beta. Very short wind-up, guaranteed after a Vantage kick. It deals very high damage. It's stupid. Stupid. Never changed it. I don't know why. Final Explosion takes second place with 10.7%. The fact that you can hit twice and deal massive amounts of damage is insane. It's the second 200 cost super attack after Super Spirit Bomb, but the windup is much shorter compared to the latter, thus making it much easier to land. Not to mention it can potentially hit twice, like I just said, under certain circumstances, like if Videl lands like a Justice Rush, or if you stun multiple times or something like that. Motionless Kamehameha takes third place with 7.3. Motionless is fast and reliable, which is good enough in most situations. I mean, Motionless, there's other supers like Motionless, like I think Black Kamehameha is like similar speed, and so is God. But Motionless was just the original move that had that property. Alrighty, here we have our weakest super attacks in Season 6. Emperor's Death Beam takes first place with 16.7. I mean, it's trash, right? What am I going to sit here and say, like, God, Punisher should have been the worst? Like, trash is trash, right? Because the implementation of the radar knockback gauge, this super attack serves no real purpose. Shouts to LTG, along with a very slow windup and being unable to move during the entire duration of the super attack. God Punisher falls right up after with a 16%. God Punisher serves no purpose because of the radar knockback gauge, and the animation is way too long considering the damage. It is mediocre at best. Cyber takes third place with a 10.7%. The super attack is slow, deals minimal damage, and the second hit almost never lands. Very true. I think that's fair. Which super attack do you believe is the weakest Season 6? I think Spirit Ball isn't great, but if it lands, it actually deals decent damage. But that's if it lands, right? Prelude to Destruction. The Finger Beam? It's not even that bad. Milky Cannon isn't great. Justice Combination isn't great, but it holds the radar in place for a long time. Hellzone Grenade? It's not great. Hell Flash makes sense. Where's Destructo Disc? Where's like the multiple Destructo Disc one? That's not on here, but we have like Hellzone Grenade. I don't. God Punisher, Evil Explosion. Evil Explosion is pretty good. Charge makes sense. Yeah, some of these I think are very interesting. Super Electric Strike, fair. The strongest, Finish Buster, totally fair. Crimson Edge is actually really good. Gigantic Meteors, like, I think that is very slept on. Death Ball is very stupid. Super Spirit Bomb, Risk Reward, I personally don't like it. Special Beam is stupid. Gigantic Roar is very good. And then Final Explosion is very good as well. And then there's Motionless, so. Moving on. Favorite map. Which is your favorite map in Season 6? Highland River takes the overwhelming advantage with a 40%. Most participants are very familiar with the map's layout and believe Highland is the most balanced map in the game. The size is just right, civilian placement are perfect, and the map is very easy to navigate even when the raider uses area destruction. Dark Future takes second? Really? Really? I'm not a big fan of Dark Future. I don't hate it, but for it being second place is very interesting. Participants enjoy playing on this map because of its aesthetics, its huge size, and the Dragon Ball Super arc it's based on. Green Coast takes the third place with an 11.3%. Participants believe this map is simple and balanced, yet aesthetically pleasing with the green sky and the ice-cold blue and green terrain. I like Waterfront. I know people hate Waterfront. Waterfront is my favorite map. I can't wait for it to be here. Okay, there it is. Which map is your least favorite? Dark Future takes the vast majority. Oh, okay. So I guess it's just kind of, the skewed participants it had. Despite its aesthetics, most participants heavily dislike its size because raiders without any sort of mobility can't control the map properly. Smart players also found Dark Future to be frustrating because of the power key placements. Dangerous Ground also takes the vast majority with a 30.7%. Participants agree that with this map's layout has a very steep learning curve along with the unforgiving lava terrain, which may discourage new players from exploring it further. I feel like I still don't know some of the portions of E on this map to this day. Waterfront Warzone takes third place with a 15.3%. Most participants agree that the map is far too small, allowing the raider to easily snowball by destroying C, the most vital area in Waterfront. Although I do think that's true, I think when raiders destroy Area C, that area, with that being gone, raiders could be very easily juggled because of that invisible wall behind of the Super Time Machine. While I do think that is the case, there's a lot of resources in C, I think destroying C can also fuck you over, in my opinion. And then here is the graph for favorite map. Highland makes sense. I'm really surprised by Dark Future. Rocky Fields, I think, is a decent map. Waterfront, okay. Waterfront is around there. Snow Mountain, I think, is fine. Okay. So that's the maps. Crossplay. How do you feel about crossplay? As expected, our participants were very positive about the implementation of crossplay with an overwhelming 92.7% in favor of this feature. The remaining 7.3% mostly to how there is no functional anti-cheat system against cheaters, mostly Steam players. Okay. Fair, I guess. All right, Region Lock. How do you feel about Region Lock? Our participants voted for Region Lock to be removed entirely, 58.7%, or at least implemented a region select a la Fighters, North America, South America, etc. 38.7 good examples being. Okay, I swear I didn't see that. Or latest project multi-beta release. The remaining 2.7% stated that breaker servers should be fixed first before lifting Region Lock. I guess, but I think Region Lock is more of a pressing issue, in my opinion. Leaderboards. How do you feel about leaderboards? Most participants thought the leaderboards were unnecessary. I agree. Who gives a fuck? Because there are much bigger things the developers should be worrying about: content, matchmaking issues, Region Lock, etc. Rating 18.7 stated that leaderboards are a fine addition, but need more rewards for different tiers, including the top 100, to encourage players to keep playing. That's very fair. And that's it. Here's the ending. You have reached the end of this survey. Thank you very kindly for taking the time to read this document. I certainly hope this proved very useful in a meaningful way. I thank all my friends for spreading the news. I want to thank all those who helped with the survey. To Bandai, Namco, and Dips, I thank you for creating Dragon Ball The Breakers. Despite its ups and downs, our community remains united and strong. We want to see Dragon Ball The Breakers succeed because we know how much hidden potential this game has, and we want it the absolute best it can be. Oh, here's just some nice things that people said. All right, very cool, dude. Very cool. So that is Jupiter that put that up. If you guys have not checked out Jupiter's channel, link in the description. Please check them out. Again, they have been very consistent in terms of uploads for the game, and most notably, they typically are very consistent, or always very consistent, and uploading all like the animations for like the Raiders and whatnot. So you can always count on them for that. But huge shouts to Jupiter. And again, if anybody else, oh damn, I have my analytics thing in there. That's awkward. Anyway, if anybody wants to do another survey like this, Jupiter or whoever else, I'd be more than happy to kind of just shout it out to get more people to participate and to provide more feedback to the Breakers team and whatnot. But that being said, I will catch you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed. like you enjoyed, comment down below your thoughts on the survey results, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Some more videos. Take care, safe, have fun. Peace out, dude. Peace out.